negotiating a lease, and my big concern is, when does the lease start? When does the rent start? I'm concerned about all the build-out time, and well, how do I work with that?
Well, you need to be very careful. When we can, we get the landlord to do the build-out. And we do that because if there's a delay in getting the build-out done, well, that's then on the landlord's time frame. But if we've signed a lease and the landlord's given us 60 days to do the build-out, and it takes us 90 days or 120 days, are we paying rent during those months that we're not even in operation?
I don't want to be paying rent while I'm not moved in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there are periods of free rent that you can work with. Sometimes we'll get a build-out period, free rent period before the lease even starts.
Right.
And then after lease commencement, we have a longer time. But regarding the build-out specifically, you want a clause that gives you a certain amount of time, because the landlord can't give you forever,
Yeah.
But you want to establish a time frame, but then that can be extended if there are circumstances beyond your control.
All negotiable.
All negotiable, yeah. Or like I said, even better yet, if it works out in your circumstances where you can have the landlord do the build out, and if things do go later, it doesn't hurt you. Because sometimes you need to be in business by a certain day, and you want to do the work, so you're in complete control of that. But many times, there's a little flexibility when you actually open. Good, let it be the landlord's responsibility.
So your personal situation is going to bear a lot into it.
Absolutely.
You've seen this go very bad.
Oh, I spoke to a lady who wasn't a client of mine. No, I didn't help her. She didn't know about me is what happened. But anyway, so I met her after the fact. She tells me the horror story. She signed a lease, figured it'd take 60 days to build out. Landlord says, fine, I'll give you 60 days free rent. She thought, what a great landlord, this is great.
Yeah.
Well, she had trouble getting plans and permits and getting the space built out. She went bankrupt before she started paying rent, before she was open, and went bankrupt before she ever opened for business.
Cash flow.
It was just a bad decision on her part.
So the bottom line here is?
Bottom line is you should be very careful about how much build-out time is enough, and try to put it on the landlord's shoulder if you can. The landlord may be contributing the cash toward the build-out,
right.
Maybe all of it in many cases, depending on the. So fine, he's putting up the money. Let him sign the contracts and deliver the space. We call it turnkey condition.
Right.
So you're done. All you do is move your furniture in, and even then, after the landlord gives me this space turnkey, I still want a month if I can get it to move my stuff in,
Sure.
and notify the movers and everything, and so.
So with effective tenant representation, you can avoid these pitfalls and move for profitability much quicker.
Absolutely. If I was you, I'd hire me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to learn more about facility, site selection, lease negotiation, etc., go to the website below. There we have 20 videos which will tell you probably more than you ever want to know about site selection and lease negotiation. Thanks a lot.